Welcome to the September 23rd, 2024 Merrimack Conservation Commission meeting. It is 6:30 p.m. Everyone here is a permanent member and none of the alternates are here, so we can go ahead and go vote based on that. Now, first up is new business. It's just two quick new business items. One is the registration for the annual NHACC meeting on November 2nd, 2024. Karis has expressed her interest. She would like to go. And even if you've been before, you are allowed to go again. So if anyone has an interest in going there on November 2nd, feel free to speak up. I don't have the early bird registration date. I think it's gonna pass before we have our next meeting. So could we go ahead and just vote to allow the funds for Karis's registration, unless someone else wants to join in on that?
I would like to go as well.
Okay.
I don't think we've ever, we have money set aside to pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I believe so.
Yeah, this is Fund 51, right? Fund 51? Fund 51. So, we have money set aside for this. I don't think we need to vote on it.
Oh, we don't need to vote?
Yeah, I think this is, we go, sign up, when you sign up, make sure you put down the bottom that we're gonna pay by check.
Mm-hmm.
And we all need to get our, registrations to ComDev, and then they're gonna cut one check to NHACC for everybody.
Okay.
Is how it's done in the past, so.
Okay, in that case,
So
I'll
that means
email.
you should be able to go in and do your registration, do everything,
Okay.
and pay by check.
So I'll email ComDev tonight that Karis and Tom would like to register, and I'll let Karis know that when you're signing up, just go to the bottom and say pay by check, and
Yeah.
it should be self-explanatory.
We've always
from
been able to do it in the past.
there.
So
Yeah, it's been a few
let me-
years
let
since
me-
I've done it.
Before I send off the request, I give it to them, they send it off for me.
No.
You
go-
register online, and there will be an alternate, a choice to pay, or your town will pay for it.
Okay.
And then they'll ping you later and say, we haven't heard from your town, and you tell
Okay.
ComDev,
Okay.
and they'll send the
All
check.
right, okay.
Okay. Okay, next quick item before we get to Sarah Drive is we did get a clarification. Steve Perkins emailed Conservation Officer Lieutenant Bill Boudreau about the confusion over the hunting laws on conservation lands. The email exchange is included in the packet, but the important things to note. So hunters do not need special written permission to place game cameras on our land, provided they are within all of the laws and hunting is allowed on those properties. As for tree stands, so nothing, I'll just quote Boudreau specifically, nothing has really changed except for the dates when they are not allowed to be left out. This would be up to the commission as to whether they want to give permission to people to leave tree stands up year-round. We would only address a tree stand left out during the period of time if the landowner has had an issue with it. Otherwise, we would not address it. So I guess if someone wants to keep a tree stand year-round, they should seek permission from us, but at the same time, it's only an issue if we want them taken down. So I think Bill Boudreau cleared up everything for us on that front.
So should people still come to get permission to put up a temporary tree stand?
It doesn't look like it,
I
right?
think I thought they had to get land over permission for,
Right, didn't it say, and then it was like through
but I wonder
December 31st?
if this is considered public land though, because that's on private property. So, and granted, we own it, but it's public land.
Would this be considered municipally owned property?
I believe so. I interpret his email as saying the only reason someone would need to get written permission from us is if they wanted to keep the tree stand up year-round. That's what I'm seeing.
How would we communicate that if they don't need to come to us for permission?
Well, they are still required to put their contact information on it. So if there is an
Okay, gotcha.
labeled
Yeah.
tree stand.
And
that,
they would have to come for us permission to get it to stay up.
Yep.
So I would, and we've already had enough problems with people climbing them out of season that I would say we should not let them stay up. They should be following the hunting rules and go by there. And then we don't need to do anything.
Okay, so there's obviously nothing to vote on that, but that's just clarification. If anyone has further questions, we can talk about it tonight or at later meetings or discuss over email. So that's that for that. So that's it for new business. So we can now move on to the discussion regarding Sarah Drive. So it's continued discussion of a proposal from resident to raise the grade of their backyard to address drainage issues, with the land being under a drainage conservation easement owned by the Conservation Commission. Parcel is located at 27 Sarah Drive, tax map 4C and lot 48-05. Are you two gentlemen? Hi. Mr. Hayward and Mr. wait, I
Please
got this.
come up, make sure the mic's on, you see the red light is on, your name and.
Yep.
Where you are, where you live, all that good stuff, and we can get going.
Hi, folks. I'm Ron Hayward. Maureen is my wife. She apologizes, but she's got grandma duty tonight with my granddaughter.
No excuse.
No worries.
So we live at 27 Sarah Drive, and if you'd indulge me for 30 seconds, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about us. Like a lot of military families, we were a military family. Retired from the Marine Corps in '97, moved to Merrimack for Lockheed Sanders, it was back then, became BAE Systems. We bought our first home in Merrimack, and BAE Systems was growing very quickly then, and so they asked leaders to move around, and so they transferred us down to upstate New York. And then I had an opportunity to come back here, and we came back here, and we bought our second home in Merrimack. They transferred us away again to York, Pennsylvania, and as soon as we could, we came right back here, and we bought our third house in Merrimack. So we love Merrimack, and we're grateful to folks like you that volunteer your time for the town. So thank you for that. The reason that we're here right now is that the home that we bought on Sarah Drive, when we purchased the home, at closing you get this stack of like 50 sheets of paper, and it's all words. There was no plat. I had to go to the fire department to get the drawing, but I got this big stack of paper, and I looked at my lawyer and I said, is this okay? And they said sure, and so we signed. And it was summertime, or it was fall. It was about, it'll be 4 years in September. But after the winter and into the spring, a significant part of the usable part of our backyard, was a lake. And, we've got 4 kids and 4 grandkids. And it's just been awful. And so we started to look at how we would amend the property. And when we looked around, all of our neighbors had the same problem. And over some period of time, I don't know whether or not they pursued permission or what they did. Not my business, but everybody else has raised their property except for the owners that sold to us, and now we're the bull. And so we're the low point in the property, and we've got standing water. And so, near as I can tell, at the deepest point, I had someone come in and actually shoot a laser level and figure out how much they'd have to amend the grade and how much, loam they'd need. And it's not a lot. I mean, we want to maintain a positive pitch away from the house, so that we don't get water in the basement. But I did 20 years in the Marine Corps. I've been a defense contractor for 25 since then. I've had a top secret security clearance my entire life. I like to follow the rules, and so that's why I'm here. I'm here to ask permission instead of just hiring, Joe with a backhoe. I watched the video from the last meeting where you guys talked about this first time, and you asked me and Maureen to hire a wetland scientist, and that's this guy here. And so Mr. Hurley has poked around the yard and done the stuff that wetland scientists do, and he's produced a report. And at that point, at this point, I'd like to ask you if you have any questions for him.
Yeah, the concern I had last month was simply to say if the town could please have a wetland scientist look at it. That happened. Based on the memo I received back, I can say that my concerns have been dealt with. My colleagues can, my colleagues may have a different thing, but my concern was, are we dealing with a wetland? And if so, then we'd need to bring in DES. As a property owner in Merrimack, I sympathize.
Thank you.
But my only concern was if we had a responsibility as a Conservation Commission to pursue DES. And if this is accurate, then I'm all set.
That's sort of my assessment too.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think, there was never any concern about doing the work. The only problem is it's on the deed.
Thank you for mentioning that, because part two of my question is,
So-
this easement now,
Yeah.
you know, is materially impacting the value of my property. And so, you know, my second part of this is, how do I get this off of the books, or whatever that means? You know, but how do I get permanent, you know, how do I get permanent relief from this? And maybe that's not today's question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and that's certainly nothing that,
That's beyond.
that's a legal thing. 'cause
That's
You'd have
back
to go, you have to go to court
Yeah.
and have the deed changed,
Right.
amended and changed. So, and, so we can't, you know, we could, I suppose, we could we can make a recommendation to do that. But if the reading of the deed is such that you can't do anything there, we can't give you permission.
Right,
And we can't deny you either.
right.
We can't do either. The deed says X, that's it.
So for the purposes of the question that was raised, though, does this commission have any concerns with what we're proposing to do?
I don't. I don't.
I did have one question. So I believe it said that the raising of these, not the raising of these, but the raising of the land will divert the wetland. Do you know if like that's gonna have any effect on the tree line where the wetland's gonna be diverted to? Or any negative effect that might, I don't know, maybe cause,
My backyard's gonna look like my neighbor's instead of
okay,
being a low point. That's because, you know, in the tree line, you know, there's a lot of wetland. Well, you know, in '95, I don't know who signed off on all this, but my neighbor, if you look at my neighbor's drawing, 88% of their land is wet,
mhm.
you know, which is stunning, you know. I've only got this problem with this pie-shaped wedge that, you know, sticks into my backyard, because beyond that, you know, much beyond that is tree line. And we're not proposing, you know, going into the tree line and changing things, you know, we just want our backyard back.
I'll address it, because if I don't say anything, I can't bill him. I gotta say something. I almost got the easy way out, but yeah, he's Luke Hurley Environmental. I don't know if you need to know anything about me or who I am or what I do. I've been around for 25 plus years. Worked somewhere else for years and years, and then went off on my own. So I've done several things in town over the course of 25 years. So I did, as he had mentioned, I went out, we walked around. I taught him all about soils and wetlands, more than he wanted to know.
No, it's pretty cool.
But yes, the long and the short of it is, I don't think it's wet. Between 95 and now, you know, it's a significant amount of time. We looked specifically in that area, as the picture shows, there was water in it when Mr. Hayward took the picture and sent it over. So we looked in that area, and what I did was just 3 soil transects. There was no vegetation there because it's kind of lawn, kind of not lawn. So I just did 3 soil transects. It's in my letter that I wrote. The soils don't make it, and he can attest to it because I taught him all about it. But as far as raising the yard, I think I understand your question. There is that drainage easement that's on this side, so the road's up here. If they raise the yard, it's not gonna, water's still gonna go that way, depending on how high they bring it in the back. It is all forested in the back, so the water, and we're not talking loads and loads of parking lot drainage just sheeting down. This is when it rains 3 inches in 15 minutes in the summer, you know, that's gonna come down real quick. But the lawn is thick, you know, so it's gonna slow some of it down. Instead of water standing there in the spring and or fall, if it ever starts to rain in the fall, there may be some water out there before they do anything. The water will still, there's plenty of land out back. It's all forested, very nice, well forested. So the water will still go there. There's plenty of places for the water to go. But as you mentioned, you know, where they are, is kind of the low spot. And that's where water just sits, but it's not sitting long enough. I don't think it's groundwater. I was about to say, sorry. I don't think it's groundwater coming up. There is a little bit of indicator that groundwater comes up for a little bit, but it's not changing the soil colors enough. And I apologize, I should have brought my book, pointed to all the colors for you so you could see. I think it's just water that sits. It's just when it rains and the water sits until it evaporates and slowly infiltrates in. It's kind of a little firm down there just from mowing and, you know, since the lot has been developed over all these years. But so the long and the short of it was, I don't think it was wetlands. I don't think the soil was met. They were actually fairly bright. So who knows? Soil rules have changed for the Army Corps a couple times. They've gone one way, as I explained. They went one way, they switched back. They went another way again, they switched back. So the soils they don't tend to change. It's just the rules that tend to change over the years, and it's kind of a confusing point where some commissions say, I don't understand. Soils haven't changed, but the rules change, which is kind of what happens. But overall, the soils don't make it. They were actually fairly bright, as we call it, so they weren't that black over gray. We looked at some, so I said, here's what wetland soils look like, and that was out in the woods, and I dug a hole, and I said, see? Then we went right back out, dug another hole in the corner of the yard, and I said, look at the difference. So it was, you know, kind of orangey tan versus the gray that we get in the wetlands. But as far as the water coming down off the back, it's just going to continue to drain down through this easement. It's not going to sheet flow off, but the water's still going to have that opportunity to go down this way. As it goes down towards the back and in the woods, and there's a big wetland way out back and stuff like that. So it's not going to change the hydrology of anything out there if they raise their yard a little bit, so it's just so it's not doesn't have a puddle in it for, you know, a certain amount of time in the spring and the fall. So it's not going to flood anybody out, and it won't. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's not going to redirect water. It's not going to dry up anything in one spot. It's not going to flood anybody out somewhere else. It's just the water's still going to have a place to go, which is it's not going to sit there. What it'll do is it'll actually absorb into the ground, because they'll be making kind of like an absorption layer by just putting loam and topsoil in there. So instead of it being packed down in the corner where it sits until it evaporates, it'll just soak into the ground. So it'll still go right back in the groundwater and recharge the aquifer.
Okay, so great. Does anyone else have any comments?
Just thank you for doing it the right way.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, you know, usually when I get this call, I did this. And then I say, you probably shouldn't have, but yes, no. It's nice when a client calls and says, I want to do something, but I want to have it looked at first. I've talked to conservation. This is what we need to do. And I said, yep, you're doing it the right way. Wish all my clients were like that. But yeah, so going about it the right way. And it's, you know, doesn't always work out in their favor. Sometimes it doesn't, but nature is nature. But it's just not wet out there. It just doesn't meet the criteria.
We just want our 4 grandkids to have a place to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just ask a question. So in looking at this drawing, which is the more important one to me, I'm looking at this one.
Mm-hmm.
You have the ability to put loam here up against your house, right? And direct water away from it? Have you already done that?
I haven't, no, I've done nothing.
Okay.
I'm not laying anything down or
Okay.
changing
Because
anything until
that's outside of the easement.
outside of the easement. Yeah, I
So
could have built right up.
right, so you could-
So what we did first is we had, we had the place surveyed by Meridian. Then when we said we need to fix the grade, I had Meridian come back and they
Yep.
staked out the easement. I said, so when he came out,
Yeah.
I had stakes in the easement, and I said, this is the area that's in red. This is the area of concern, and this is the area where if we don't raise the grade, we're going to continue to have Lake Hayward. So, and so no, I've not put any soil here yet, but I did have a contractor come out with a laser level and said, from my back deck steps, they can go from like this deep to like this deep to,
Yeah.
just to maintain a grade. but
You're not having water problems in your house right now.
Not yet.
Not yet, but
Not yet, knock on wood.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying is like this is outside of the easement. So if you're
Right.
having water problems, your foundation, you can put that in now and get the water away from your house
Oh,
at
sure.
least.
Yeah.
So and then, but
Yeah, we don't even have a sump pump, and
Okay, yeah.
I'm grateful,
Yeah.
but the water is too close for comfort. I really want to get this fixed once and for all.
my only concern is we can make a recommendation or say yes or no, but we can't we can't change the deed just on our whim.
No, but what we can do is say, does the Conservation Commission
Yeah,
assert
yeah, we-
interest in this based on the
yeah.
presence of wetlands?
So if we can get, I mean, I know the town lawyer said that we should make this decision, but again, we can't.
Yeah, we can make a decision regarding this, but in terms of changing the deed or getting rid of the conservation
Well, yeah, but I'm
easement,
saying is
not sure.
allowing someone to, if the deed says they can't do anything in the conservation easement, we can't say, oh yeah, go ahead.
No, our concern is, what are we responsible for
Yeah.
as a Conservation Commission?
Yeah.
Is what they're doing causing any problems with wetlands? To my knowledge, it is not, and anything involving the deed is going to be between the landowner and
Yeah.
people with,
Well, I just wanna
Better
make sure that, I mean, regardless of what we say, when you walk out of here, even if we say, yeah, go ahead, it's in your deed that you
So
can't.
I started with planning, Casey Wolfsmith,
Yeah.
right? And she's the one that went to the lawyer. And the lawyer said,
Yeah,
lateral to you guys
Yeah.
because it's wetlands. And so you told me hire a wetland scientist. I did that.
yeah.
This is not wetlands. And so irrespective of what the deed says, though, that's not wetlands. And so if someone were to take action against me for doing this, it would be the town and the lawyer, it would be planning the lawyer, it would be the same process, but you'd be
Yeah.
coming at me. This commission can say, we don't have a concern
Yeah,
because.
exactly, we can say that, I'm saying,
Yeah.
but we can't say,
Yeah,
yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, yeah. Cause I just,
No, I understand what
You
you're
know,
I
saying.
mean,
I got no pull with the Register of Deeds either.
yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that they made a comment in here that,
Yeah,
they
it
said,
was-
"Oh, let it expire in 30 years, and they
It was
didn't.
I
gonna
was-
sunset next year.
I was gonna point that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys got the minutes too.
I saw
but
that, I saw Casey's memo.
2025 was when it was originally set to expire, and then someone put in at the last second, let's make it permanent.
I wonder if there's a way to put an expiration date on it.
Maybe.
I guess you'd have to change the deed again.
Who would we even have to talk to? Is that Comdev? Is that town council?
It would be, I guess it would be zoning and planning and zoning.
Just go back to Casey Wolfsmith.
Should we consult the town's lawyer to find out, like, who's responsible now, what do we do from here? Is there a way that we can fix it? Or,
Nah,
okay,
I think
we
it's
don't-
back to lawyer.
No.
It's back to lawyers.
Okay.
It's
And
back to fixing the deed, it's, you know,
I'm not trying to dodge anything, it's just
Yeah,
our,
no.
we have a fairly narrow mandate.
right, I understand the scope. Your scope is, do we have a concern?
It's
He's
not-
here to say
and
it's not a wetland, so.
It's not wetlands, so I guess we don't have. a
That's the
concern.
thing, like, the original,
But it's a wetlands easement, which is unfortunate.
yeah, so if it's no longer a wetland, does the wetland easement? I don't-
That's kind of what
Yeah,
I,
that's
Yeah,
that's
what
what I
I'm
was
I
saying.
think we're beyond kind of like what we're
Yeah.
capable of here.
That's what I'm saying, is
I think.
it's too bad it's written into the deed like that.
That's all right, I can hire a lawyer.
Yeah.
I can hire a lawyer to talk to the town lawyer. The town lawyer is gonna go, it's not a wetland, town doesn't have a problem, and
Yep.
then let's get it off the deed, so.
Yeah.
That's the rest of the story.
Mhm.
But for now, I just wanna fix the yard, so.
Yeah. So if it's not a wetland, it doesn't sound like anyone here has any problems with going forward with their grading project.
I have no objection to it on the basis of it.
Do we have to make a written statement, or will the minutes?
I would think for all this, we need to have a vote, formal vote,
Okay.
Okay.
don't you? I mean, after 2 weeks and all this,
It'd probably be safer to take a vote.
Okay, may I take a crack at it?
Sure. I don't.
Okay, yeah, we can play with the language here. I move that the Conservation Commission declare that in the absence of a wetland, our concern, we do not have a concern with this project.
Sure.
sure.
I'll second. Oh, okay, you seconded it. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? All
Yay.
opposed?
Thank
All
you.
abstaining?
Thank you.
Okay. Passes
Thank you
five
Will,
for
to
your
zero.
time.
thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
we go to the town lawyer though and ask, okay, to move forward, what, make sure he's,
We can ask the town manager to make whatever inquiries we want.
yeah, now, is there a way to expire this easement? And get it, cause it's gonna be to your benefit to get it off your deed, when you.
Managing the value of my property if I go to sell it.
Right, yeah.
I do want it off the deed, it's worth, a few
Yep.
$1,000s to the lawyer to go fix the deed.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I wanted to respect this commission and play by the rules,
Yeah.
and thank you for your,
Thank
For that
you.
reason why I'm really glad
And if anybody needs a wetland scientist, he's really good.
Thank you for your
Thank
time,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
The next piece on other discussion was the ongoing discussion regarding potential education programs. By default, that is Karis's thing. She's not here tonight, but does anyone have anything to add regarding outreach, education, anything like that?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the grass replacement.
So that moves us on then to approval of the minutes.
I'll move that we approve the draft minutes of the September 9th, 2024 Conservation Commission meeting with the following amendments.
Second?
I've got a few, mostly typos. Line 46, put an S on expires. Permission expires. Line 77, this is debatable, which when completed would help him complete the requirements for Eagle rank.
Okay. Change the wording.
Yeah, just that.
Help him complete.
Yeah, the requirements.
Okay, we just need to be careful if this is not a quote, this is just someone's interpretation of what the meeting said,
Yep.
because we can't change what someone said.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a direct quote.
Okay.
Let's see. Page 3, line 104, as a matter of courtesy rather than or courtesy. And that's all I got.
I have one someplace. Line 233, it's on page 6. I'm sorry, it's 230, 231. I think it's 230, I can't read. There's a reference to Greater Trail. There is no Greater Trail. I don't know if that's supposed to be Greater Road Trail or Greater Woods or Gateway Trail.
Oh, Gateway Trail in Greater, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it
Yes.
was Gateway Trail.
Yeah.
So what was it again?
Gateway Trail within Greater Woods.
Gateway Trail within Greater Woods, okay. Oh, just above that, line 228, Commissioner Perry noted there are a number of parcels.
Anything else? Okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes as amended? All opposed? All abstaining? None. Okay, so that vote passes 5-0 to 0. That does leave Commissioner comments, not on the agenda, but Commissioner comments. I'll just say that the annual report to the town council is this Thursday. I'm going to be giving annual report. Other people are always welcome to come. but I'm the only one that has to be there.
That's this Thursday, you said?
This Thursday, yeah. Which is also, as we discussed before the meeting, the opening of the Town Center Trail that connects Watson Park and Wildcat Falls. I'll be out there trying to make some trail markers at the last minute in that little school area. And that's all I have for commissioner comments.
We should probably at some point in time go down and define that acre of land that we own down there.
I think I know what it is now. I'll take another look at my map, but I
Yeah.
think I know which part it is.
Yeah, just,
Mhm.
because we can make trails on it, we can make a trail to it, and
Mhm.
just be a good idea to have it defined so we know.
Mhm.
And is Andrew on board with talking to, Wildcat Subcommittee to take that on as a
He hasn't
management?
said. He'll
Okay.
be at the next meeting. I did send out an email to the subcommittee. I think I got a response, but I don't remember what it was. It was a couple months ago. But I'm sure they'll be discussing it when they get a chance. There are a couple of great places for a kiosk that
Yeah.
to reflect the new trail.
There's a few items down there. There's benches and
Mhm.
little areas
Little
down there. that
classroom
need-
area,
yeah.
I guess. That's why I call it classroom area, but.
And Horse Hill Subcommittee will meet tomorrow evening
Mhm.
at 7 PM at Town Hall, and I will steal Gage's thunder and remind people, it is hunting season. Please wear blaze orange. This comes to mind after being in Horse Hill a few times, and everybody's enjoying the trails, and I'm glad to see it. But please wear orange and put something orange on your dogs.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
gonna say, and your pets. We spoke briefly, last meeting, about the name of Wildcat Falls. Stephanie did a great job of getting back to me and putting it, and I kind of incorrectly assumed it was gonna be in the meeting here to discuss, but I think we should bring it up and settle it, if we wanna do something about that. Cause that's been the one problem we've had with Wildcat is Wildcat Falls, and that's where everyone wants to go because they hear the name Falls. So, and it's no longer 80 acres, so we can't really call it 80 acres any longer either, so.
Even though I default to it.
I know. There's still people call it Suicide Hill, but we can't say that anymore either.
Yeah, sure, I'll put that in the next meeting. Name of Wildcat Falls.
I'll get, I don't know if Stephanie just sent that to me or she sent it to everybody.
I believe I got it too, I think.
Okay,
she
so
sent it to
but
a few
regardless,
people.
we'll make sure it gets to everybody for the background.
Hmm.
So, thank you, Stephanie.
I did have one thing that came to mind. I think it was the last meeting we talked about, there's a sign for the Sauhegan River Trail that says, no biking. I did get confirmation that people can walk bikes through. So you can bring your bikes through the trail.
The town center.
Yep.
Okay.
So they can bring their bikes through the trail to get to the conservation land, just can't ride
Ride on
on
that,
that section. Yep.
Are you familiar where the signs are?
No.
There's one sign up by the kiosk that says, no bikes, which is
Yeah.
fine. But then there's the whole park, and then the fence that comes up, and there's no sign from where the kiosk is up on the road to that whole walkway to the fence that enters the trail. There's no sign down there that says
There's
no
no
bikes.
sign kind
So
of at the
that might
trailhead.
be, that kiosk area sign may just take it and kind of move it down below, might be a better use of that sign.
Anything from you, Tom?
Just one second. One quick thing, I was able to get some information, some financial information for you that Ellen said that you might need, for the Thursday thing. I have it in my email. I will forward it to you. If you need it, you'll have it. If you don't need it, you'll still have it.
Yeah, I probably need it.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to,
I'll
If you
send you
don't
what I
use it
have.
Thursday, you will need it for the written report you'll prepare in the spring.
okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to watch some old meetings just to scout on how I'm supposed to do it, but,
Okay, yeah. I got the I got the information.
Mhm.
I really don't know, I can't interpret it, I don't know what it means, but.
Just give it to me, I'll see what
Okay.
I can do.
Okay, okay,
We just hand it on.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's a good thing you told me about that far enough in advance, because it took about 2 weeks for him to get it to me.
I had the benefit of Gina Rosati, former member who preceded me, without her helping me along
Yeah.
with that, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
gotten it, so. Institutional knowledge doesn't preserve itself.
Yeah, Steve has given me the old presentations he did, and I have the annual town report on hand, so I think it'll be no problem. But yes, financial information would be great. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm sure I can do something with it.
Okay, okay.
So that settles commissioner comments. In that case, I motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 7:06 PM.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.